My name is Jay Bridgeball. I'm a real estate broker since 1988. I've seen the good days, the bad days, and the not so bad days. My passion is to educate consumer about all aspects in real estate. Actually, I sold over $1.75 billion in real estate. Now, that's a lot of experience. I went through many failures, many successes, and I've seen many stories that you will be amazed. Not everything looks so glamorous as it is sometimes. On Let's Talk Real Estate, we will dig deep down and I will take you step by step through every process, from buying your first home to buying a multi-million-dollar investment property. We will have various people on this show. Lawyers, investors, we'll have mortgage brokers, appraisals, and everyone else to assist us to take you to that point. My aim is to break it down in such easy terms that you will be able to follow. So please join me every Thursday between 1 and 2, and let's talk real estate.
Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Real Estate. Normally with Jay Bridgepaul and myself, but today obviously we have myself, AMIT Kanha, and Dennis Allison, both of us from the Bridge team. So today we have a very special episode for you today. Now, really what's happening, Dennis, and as you know, it's been one of those things that we've only been running about 4.5 months now, but we get a constant bombardment of questions. And, you know, it's regular questions that people, I guess, they always thought to ask, but no one wants to, you know, pick up the phone and call a real estate agent. So we've got installment 3 of Real Estate Questions and Answers. So let's jump right in. And that's why I brought you on here today.
Perfect.
So first question. Hey guys, do I really need to order a home inspection? Dennis, what do you got to say about this one?
It's a given. Home inspection is the best thing you can do, especially when you're buying a house. Why would you buy a house and you don't even know if it has good bones, if it's leaking, anything like that? Like, would you buy a car and if just off the lot like that, next thing you know, you drive down
A
the
used
street, the oil
vehicle.
is leaking out?
Yeah. So definitely, you know, and I agree with you on that, Dennis. But, you know, I think specifically a lot of clients are really worried about what's happened over the last year and a half and see how that's affecting the market now, because it's almost become common practice to not do a home inspection.
Yeah.
So if you're not doing a home inspection, then what the heck's going on, right?
Yeah.
Realistically, over the last, it stopped in March of last year, so late of 2016 to early of 2017. And we had people that were buying houses with no home inspections, $100,000 over the asking price, and they just did it because there was a market shortage, right? So now what's happening is people are coming back and saying, hey, we got problems with our house.
Yeah, exactly. Well, just to touch on that too, the market at that point, the reason why it was like that, because there was less supply and more demand.
Right, of course.
So now there's, instead of getting one offer, you're getting, 10 offers.
Right.
So you can't come in with something like an inspection as your condition, because then somebody else will come in with a firm offer, meaning no inspection,
no
finance, stuff
financing,
like that,
right?
right? So that's how it was. Just a touch on.
Well, you know what? I'm glad you actually brought that up, because now what's happening is we're very much a balanced market, and not to get too much into our last segment where we do the market recap, but in a balanced market, you're able to go through, take your 5 days to get your financing from your bank, take your 5 days to get an inspector to come in the property. You know, an inspection is only going to take 2 hours, and you're going to get a full detailed report. It's going to cost you maximum $400, on average actually about $300. So to answer your question, I think it's definitely mandatory to get an inspection on a property. And if their seller's agent is not allowing it, which some of them do when there's a very hot topic or a hot item, what can you do, Dennis? There's a
red flag.
No, obviously it's a red flag, but there's a secret that we at the Bridge team have been using for quite some time. We book a very long appointment at the property. So we book an appointment, at 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock or 3 to 5, and then we go through with the inspector.
Yes.
And we just tell them it was a long appointment. So there's always a way to get an inspection done on a property. Maybe it's just not the way with putting in a clause, but I definitely recommend somebody checking out your
Somebody
home.
should you should always get a home inspection done. You'll see everything.
Yeah, yeah. All right, great. And then to follow up with that one, I have another question here, and it was very similar, so I decided to group them together. Now, do I need a final walkthrough when closing? Dennis, what are your thoughts on that?
You do need a final walkthrough. Just like the inspection is important, the final walkthrough is also important because you don't know from the time that you've seen the home and your agent went through and made an offer and so forth, if there's any other damages that took place while moving out.
You know what?
Like
It's
that,
good.
right?
Let's give our viewers a little bit of a breakthrough for, or not a break, a timeline, right?
Yeah.
So if you're looking at a timeline now, let's say you're buying this home on January 1st. Dennis, you and your wife have gone in and seen the property. It's January 15th, and that was your last visit. When's your closing going to be? It's not going to be January 16th.
Yeah.
It's going to be 2 months down the road. So if you're looking at a closing at the middle of February, or even the beginning of March, these are things that are, you don't really know what's going on in the property until then. And everyone is good-willed and good intentioned. But when you got to spend $3,000 to move furniture out of your house, and you end up cheaping out and go and find the guy on Kijiji.
Yeah, and damage the wall.
And they damage the wall.
The
who's
hinges,
really going to be fixing those items? And
Exactly.
it should be the seller. But after that property actually changes hands, it becomes a little bit of a sticky situation where lawyers don't really want to get involved, and agents end up having to step in and kind of sort this issue out, right?
There's another issue too that we've come across through our office. It wasn't. It was one of our agents who did the deal, and when the
We were on the buyer side.
We were on the buyer side.
Okay.
And what happened was the sellers decided to take the washer and dryer out and replace them with old stuff.
Oh.
So that's another issue you're looking at. It sounds so simple. You would think, hey, I bought this house, I have my washer dryer in there, but hey, you got to check all those things. You got to make sure everything is done to the T, dot the I's, all those type of things.
You know what? You know what's a good practice, and if they don't actually have a photo on the MLS of the actual washer and dryer, what I actually do is I just open it up and I snap a photo of the serial number, because there's no way anyone can get around that, and it's in your phone. If you don't use it, you never use it. Who cares? It's another picture in your phone.
It's backup though. You need
but
that.
but 4 months or 5 months down the road, when your property is closing, AMIT, what do we do? Oh, let me just take a look. What was the day I did that appointment? When did I do that showing? I have the serial number. And when you come back with a serial number, there's no way that they can, fight you on that.
Exactly.
Because a lot of the times when you think about it, Dennis, 3 months later, are you going to remember what that washer, make, model, even what the color even was?
Yeah, exactly. That's the last thing on your mind. You're worried about, getting the deal done and then
going to the lawyer,
moving,
getting that huge check over.
Exactly. All the different things you have to take care of. That's the last thing you want to look at. Is my oven the same? Is my fridge the same? You're not thinking about that, right?
Yeah.
So,
And now, it refreshed my memory a little bit. Carl ended up resolving that one through the lawyer's office?
it was Sheldon, actually.
Oh, Sheldon,
he was
okay.
on the last episode.
Oh, right.
He did get it resolved through the lawyer. It was a grueling process, though, because it was because he didn't actually take the picture.
Right.
Because, again, you don't think about this. You get it when you have experience with it. So next time he's going to know better to take the pictures of all the appliances and so forth.
But he ended up getting it sorted out through the lawyer.
It did get sorted out through the lawyer, but it was a long process for them to do that because he didn't have the evidence. But if he had it, the evidence, like you say,
of course,
he would have been in better standing.
Yeah, and these are just time tested and true procedures that real estate agents need to acquire over the span of their business, because no one's going to be perfect on day one, Dennis. But what you do is, after you have a lot of experience and a lot of time in the game, then you pick up these little knacks.
Exactly.
So let's jump straight into the next question here. And now, hi guys, I am selling my property, but the laminate is damaged. What do I do? Replace it? All right. I know you and I specifically have different views on something like this because you're a construction guy. So tell me, what's your view on this?
Well, when it comes to laminate, actually, there's some really nice laminate out there that, it costs you a little bit more, but they are better when it comes to scratch. They say it's scratch resistant. Nothing's really scratch resistant.
Well, hardwood is extremely prone to scratching.
Oh, yeah. And with the hardwood, that's the next point I was getting at there. If you have hardwood, there's actually another option that could be cheaper than actually replacing all of it, you could refinish it.
right.
Ask the guy, can you refinish it? You know, he sands it down, varnishes it up again, and makes it look like new again.
So I guess we'll look at it in two parts then,
Yeah.
because you know, if it really is actual hardwood and you have, you know, a few scrapes left in it, right? Because you can scrape those down about 2 or 3 times, right?
Yeah.
And then restain them.
Yeah.
Because it's funny you mentioned that, and I didn't even think about this, but I have a bungalow in Flowertown, and the floors were, you know, a kind of a bright kind of woody kind of color, and it was probably really great in the 90s, but it really isn't now. So I called this guy that I found online, and he does churches. He restains churches.
Oh,
So
nice.
he came from, you know, really
So he's
good.
a pro.
Yeah, he's a pro.
He's a pro, yeah.
Yeah, and he said, you know, there's about 3 more scrapes. They call them scrapes left in him, and he stained the whole thing, and it just looked beautiful. It looked really amazing. So in that case, if it's hardwood, I know you didn't ask about hardwood, but if it's hardwood, yeah, try to restain it instead. If it's laminate, and laminate's been damaged, when laminate's typically a lot cheaper, and especially laminate that maybe from 10 years ago, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
The newer engineered laminate is really worth spending the money. You know, $1.25 a square foot.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're even getting the cheaper ones if you just want to get it done really quickly in a basement, 95 cents a square foot.
Yeah.
So maybe you might want to replace that laminate, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Well, the thing is, with the hardwood, it costs you so much more than the laminate does. So, in that sense, when it comes to laminate, replace it.
Yeah.
Because it's so inexpensive to do so
Also
than it is to...
also with the tongue and groove these days, even a guy like
It's
me,
simple,
even a guy like me could do it.
Yeah.
I don't need to call
we
Dennis
can come over
over.
on a weekend and do it. You know, it's so simple, right?
Yeah.
But with the hardwood,
It's a snap in, right?
yeah, it's a tongue and groove, so it just fits together like that.
Right.
Once you put it in, they snap together, and you just keep on going like that.
Right.
But with the hardwood, it's very expensive. So if you can get it refinished, I would weigh out the pros and cons and see what the cost efficiency is.
Right. Okay, that makes sense, definitely. So that's a good point. So you've done that kind of work in the past, I guess, right?
Yes, I have. So redoing it, it's I wouldn't do it more than once, to be honest with you, because it'll last you so long. By the time you have to change it again,
The style may change.
The style may change. You want different colors, stuff like that, and you know, you'll get your money's worth out of it.
Yeah, the gray tones are in nowadays, anyway. So, you know, I'll tell you, you know, when you're ready to list it, make sure you give us a call.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Give us a call, and then we'll make some recommendations on there. Okay, so next question here. Now, this is a good one. Hey? Now, Dennis, what is a seller's market? I've heard this term all the time.
So, there's two different. The seller's market is when there's less supply and more demand.
Right.
Now, the buyer's market is the opposite way around. If there's more supply, less demand, that is a buyer's market.
Obviously. So then I guess it's kind of a throwback to the first question that was asked now regarding if you have more buyers on the market than sellers. So it's kind of an inefficiency in the market. All right. Okay, that's good stuff. Now, on that note, what I'll do is I'll get to the next question here. All right. So then I guess you can ask, what's a buyer's market then, Dennis?
Yeah. So, as you know, the buyer's market, less supply, more demand, other way around. It's just works hand in hand,
Now,
right?
you see, which one of these is really best for, is it best for a seller? Is it best for a buyer? And that's a real question that we hear all the time. Like, even right now, for example, they call it a buyer's market out there. And again, not to get too much into our last segment, but when we're in a buyer's market, you're going to be able to negotiate lower on asking prices. You're going to be able to get your inspection done and go through all these ins and outs.
Exactly. And with the seller's markets, like we were talking about earlier,
Last year, January, February, March.
People are going in firm offers, no inspections, conditions, and things like that.
Over asking price.
Absolutely.
Over asking
Absolutely.
price. All right, well, that's good stuff. And one last question before we cut to break. Now, how long does it take me to buy a home? Okay.
That's a good question.
You know what the thing is, under normal circumstances, Dennis, it takes you a day to buy the home, right? You sign the offer, you get everything done, and it's all wrapped up. But realistically, a closing on average is going to take 60 days.
Yes.
In the past, it used to be up to 90 days. And in recent years, I've seen it come as quick down to 30 to 45 days.
Yeah.
In your experience, you know, what are you seeing?
Well, just to touch on that, when you're talking about closing and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, like actually
let's
getting
talk
the
about
keys.
Actually, before that, the whole process of even starting it, finding the home is the biggest part because.
Oh,
you
maybe
can
I
only
read that
find-
incorrectly. You're right. How long does it take you to buy a home? Okay.
So you've gone into the next part of
Right.
it. I'll talk about the beginning part of it because usually they call me at the bridge team, and I will take care of that part, which we're looking for the homes, we're finding the right fit for you, and something that you can see you and your family living in first
right,
of all.
Because you're the real inside sales
and
guy.
then you pull the trigger from there, right?
Okay, and that whole process, I guess, takes maybe 3 weeks, a month, maybe 2 months even.
Yeah, we've had clients who've been 6 months.
Yeah, well, that's true. I guess you really have to make sure that you get the right fit and the right home for someone. Because,
Exactly.
At the end of the day, Dennis, when you're moving into this property, you don't want to be looking at that same wall and being like, oh, darn, I wish I didn't buy this house. Or I wish I didn't move into this
Plus,
property.
it's the biggest purchase you make in your life.
Yeah.
So you have to make sure you have the right fit and something you feel comfortable with.
Right. Unless you're buying a boat or something.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. With that being said, I really want to just thank our viewers for tuning in for this particular segment. We're going to cut to a quick commercial break, and we'll be back to talk a little bit more about the questions and answers. So we'll see you guys soon.
Are you retiring smart? Make your home's equity work for you. With your home's equity and our 30 years of experience, the Retire Smart Properties team can help you achieve the quality of life you've always wanted. Our services are 360 degrees. We'll give you advice, take care of staging and selling, and help you find the perfect home and community to transition to. It's time to enjoy the retirement lifestyle you deserve. Visit our website today to learn how you can use your home to retire comfortably. The Retire Smart Properties team, powered by RE/MAX West.
Great, and how's your experience been so far?
I'm loving it because
This is my first year here, and I was so excited.
I've had so many people come, so much traffic. I'm absolutely tired.
Because of all the exposure that I got from this great event, I was able to grow and evolve and create my very own label.
It's been a fantastic event.
This is my second year.
This is a great and awesome event connecting to the community.
So yeah, we urge you to join here. It's a great turnout.
So for those of you who are not here this year and have business, make sure that you're here next year because it's only going to get better every year.
So I will be back next year. So thank you. This is so awesome.
So people who aren't here, what would you tell them?
You're missing out. Come out and have some fun.
Hi guys, and welcome back to Let's Talk Real Estate. Thanks for tuning in for our commercial break. You're back here with myself, I'm High and Dennis, also from the Bridge team. We're diving into a lot of the questions and answers that we end up getting after the show, and a lot of these, we reply right away. But I've noticed the ones that really pop up a lot. I think it's best to air everything out in one episode, once a month or something like
Knowledge
that. Right?
is power.
Definitely, Dennis. This one is exactly right up your alley, and it's a part of the reason why I brought you on the show today. Because I have a few questions that are very much tailored towards your specific job in finding a property. So this one here is: how many homes should I view before buying one? Now, I know it's a tail on the last question we had, so I'll let you field it. Yeah.
You know what? I kind of want to explain the process that we go through too,
for
so
it.
then it gives you a more of an idea how the bridge team works.
Right.
So pretty much with the bridge team, it's great because when you get one agent who's just that single guy, he does all the paperwork, admin work, and calling and all that type of stuff, that guy gets spread thin. The good thing with the bridge team is that we have all people like myself who works in the inside sales department.
Right.
I also have our admin staff, our outside sales.
Or even our marketing guys, right?
Our marketing guys too. So, we have a team working for you. So we're going to put in all of our efforts. And with more people, like they say, 2 heads are better than 1. Well, why not have 5 people better than 1?
Well, one thing specifically within that process, and not to stray too far away from the question, but when you're looking at properties, it's really nice that your realtor, if they have someone that's inside the office as well at all times, is able to quarterback those MLS listings directly to the person midday or at lunch, whenever it is that they're actually free. Because a lot of the times during the process, gone are the days when you just sit back and wait for your realtor or inside sales officer to send you listings. It doesn't happen anymore. Now with Realtor.ca, the apps, and all these different things out there, everyone's just scrolling all day.
Exactly.
And then they're sending. It's evolved to a system where the buyer or prospective tenant is actually sending the realtor the properties.
Yes.
And so it's a mix between, okay, give me your feedback on this particular property. And that's what I like how you do it, Dennis. You know, you give them exact feedback. So I guess to kind of answer the question, you know, there's no set number. You definitely probably don't want to be buying the first property you take a look at because you don't have anything to compare it on. But, you know, there's no harm in seeing 10, 15, 20 properties, really.
Well, the reason, sorry to cut you off, is just the reason why I'm saying this is because the process that we do is I will start sending out some listings as we do together, and then we can give you our feedback. So that way you're not going to see properties that we know you're not going to like. It's better to get our suggestions and you know, actually guide you in that direction because you don't want to waste your time.
Well, you know what? The funny thing about that is, Dennis, is majority of people. Now, you and I do this. This is our job. This is day in, day out. We look at these photos on MLS. We can see. I sometimes joke with clients and I tell them we can see through the pictures.
Yeah, exactly.
Because everyone's using a beautiful wide-angle lens. You know, that same lens that makes Dennis look so pretty today. But this is what happens in these. You know, they're taking pictures and they just make them beautiful. And then you go through and see the property and it looks like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, also, you know what they do too is they stand in the corner of the room and take the picture
and angle
from
upwards.
Here.
Yeah,
it looks like the room's huge. You get there and you can barely fit in there yourself.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
You know what I equate it to? I equate it to Instagram.
yeah, exactly. Everything looks bigger, eh?
Yeah, no. So basically, what's happening? You know, with these photos, you're taking, you know, very wide angle photos and you're kind of, you know, smudging it a little bit, right? So what happens is you and I can say, listen, honestly, guys, this property looks quite large and looks like it fits your needs, but this is a much smaller space than it really is. So you and I are going to cross it off the list. We'll strike it off. And you know what it's going to do, Dennis? It's not just going to save you and I time. It's going to save frustration from the buyer from going to see another 5 additional properties that are completely not within their realm.
Yeah, that's why our clients appreciate what we do because we go the step above. Because when, as a client, you got to put yourself in that person's shoes. What am I really looking at when I look at this listing? I'm not going to go through the dimensions of what rooms and stuff like that.
Well, it's
I'm gonna
funny.
look at pictures,
Yeah,
you know
it's
what I
funny you
mean?
mentioned that because dimensions alone, it's almost impossible for someone that's a non-real estate professional or a non-construction professional to visualize what a 8x9 room is.
Exactly.
In your mind, like, I don't know, 8 feet by 9. Sure, like that's big enough.
Yeah, exactly.
Or it could be 3x3. Sure, that's big enough. What is that? That's like you know,
you
a
won't
closet.
look at that though.
Exactly.
As a client, you're not going to look at that. I'm going to look at the pictures. I'm going to look at the bedrooms. I want to see if the basement is finished, stuff like that. I'm not looking what those sizes are because those don't mean that doesn't mean anything to me as a client looking to buy a home.
So you know, not to beat up on our clients too much, but they have a little bit of tunnel vision. So you know, back to the question, you know, there's no set number of properties. It's more about a feeling. And you know, Jay always says this as well, that it's you know that home as soon as you walk into it.
You can feel the vibe.
It.
Exactly.
Say, this is the home I'm gonna live in.
Exactly. You know what? A lot of the times too, what I like to tell clients is when you go into the house, picture how you want it to be set up. Picture where you would be sitting. Like you can picture your TV set up and your couch and everything. Picture where your family will be. The things you do with your family, with your home, you customize your home to fit your family's needs. So how will your furniture fit in this place, and how do you see your family in this? Look in the backyard. You can picture your kids playing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have to feel that vibe, and you need to feel that vibe, and it has to fit your needs.
Oh, that's a good point. So yeah, again, no set number.
Exactly.
So just you know, just continue browsing until you get the right property.
When you're comfortable, do it.
Now another question here. It's a good segue into this one. How long does it actually take the seller to respond to an offer? I put 2 offers and both sellers did not respond. So this is an interesting one. Now on offers, I'll feel a little bit more of this one because I'm out in the field a little bit more.
Yes.
So typically you write an offer. So Dennis comes to me. We say we like this property. It's listed at $800,000. We want to put an offer in for let's say $750. I'm going to do 2 scenarios. One offer is $750. So we go in and write the offer up, and we give them usually a 24 hours or 48 hours irrevocable time. So we've touched on this in I think an episode last month, but we'll go into a little more detail. So irrevocable times is basically you say it's like a ball. You're bouncing a ball. So the ball is now in your court. So when it's in our court, we're writing it out and saying, okay, we're giving you 24 hours of irrevocable time where we cannot revoke our offer. Our offer is firm and binding, not firm, but it's binding.
Yeah.
And that means if you accept this offer anytime within the next 24 hours, then we're in a deal.
Yes.
And this is witnessed, so it's basically the equivalent of a lawyer witnessing something.
So it has a seal on it, right?
Exactly, it has the seal on it. So now, within that next 24 or 48 hours, whatever was specified, then the other agent shows their seller the offer. They make a decision on if they want to, sign back on what price and how they negotiate back and forth. And that's typically how a negotiation like that works. Now, in this particular case, you said you put 2 offers through, and none were actually responded to. So in my mind, that's kind of telling me, without guessing the price, I think maybe it was a lower type of offer. I don't want to say the term lowball, but a lot of the times, people are stuck maybe 20 years ago or 15 years ago, whatever the market was the last time they purchased or sold, and they think that's what's going to happen. And, even up to 6-7 years ago, Dennis, there was properties that were, being sold and people were negotiating 40,000 under. Dennis, up till a month and a half ago, I did a deal on a property that was a $35,000 discount, about lower than the listing price. And that's not to say that you're getting a discount or it's significantly cheaper, but that's not always. Every home is priced differently. Every realtor prices a home differently,
Yes.
and every seller wants their home to be priced differently. Some people price their property with the intention to negotiate down, and some people price it literally at the asking price, which is, in my opinion, the better way to do it. And when you price it right at the asking price, then you're not really going to get a $30,000 or $40,000 negotiation down.
Exactly.
So,
and also to add on that, sorry, if you price it in that range there, and you have to also in the correct range. You also have to know what's sold and what's being sold in that area to know what to come in at. You don't want to come, like you're saying, with the low offers, the low ball offers. If you come in with those offers, you're not going to get a response because it's way too low. It's like you're offending the person by saying, because you have to put yourself in that person's shoes. What would you accept in that time? You know what the market is at that time. Would you take that offer?
Exactly. So, and some people say, well, hey, I just wanted to open the conversation. But I'm glad you said the word offending, because there's a lot of different cultures, mixed up in the GTA in general, and there's certain cultures that specifically will not sell you their property because you've offended them by giving a lowball offer. But then there's also certain cultures in the GTA that they live for haggling.
Yes.
So, not to single out any one culture, but it goes both ways. Like, I have some Italian clients that say, if this offer came in this price, I don't never want to sell this property to that particular buyer. And, on the other end, it may be for another buyer or a West Indian buyer, for example. They love to haggle and they want to go back and forth.
Yeah.
So it's one of those situations. In this particular situation, I actually believe the offer was too low. Otherwise, there's no valid reason for a seller to not sign you back a counter offer in these situations.
Exactly. Also, too, a good agent will make sure that they get the feel of who they're working with. So, for example, I'm pretty sure you do this. When you call to speak with the seller agent, you can try to get a little more information on how their sellers are. What's their motivation to move? How they are, like, what
are they completely desperate? Can they wait 3 more months? Are they going to be offended if I put it in a lower offer?
Exactly. You got to talk to the person. You work together. At the end of the day, you're not fighting against these people. You're trying to work together.
Yeah. All right, awesome. Well, on that note, what I'll do is I'll ask our viewers just to stay tuned for a few more minutes while we look at a few commercials, and we'll be back in just a few minutes asking a lot of the important questions, the Q&A of, Let's Talk Real Estate. Absolutely. We'll see you guys in a few.
One night going home, it was the night where I got promoted to become the sales leader of the team, and that was like the best day of my life. And I'm driving home at 3 in the morning, and I fell asleep behind my wheel. It's cold, it's winter, it's December 22nd, right? Literally Christmas Eve, and I drive my car into a utility pole, thick wooden one, and my car spun and hit a fire hydrant, and then I landed on the edge of a hill going down into a parking lot. If I had a passenger, they would have been dead. And I woke up the next day, I went straight back to the office. I have a cast on my hand. I walk in, I'm like, I almost died last night and I'm still early. Don't be late.
Think you have what it takes to bring value to the community? The TCN TV network is expanding and now accepting TV show proposals. Here's an opportunity to build celebrity status and become part of an elite group of community advocates that are focused on building, strengthening, and empowering our community in a positive way. Are you interested in embarking on a new adventure? TCN TV is searching for people interested in opportunities to change the conversation and pave an unforgettable legacy. If you feel you have something of value to offer, send a written show proposal to shows@mytcntv.com.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to Let's Talk Real Estate. Here with myself, AMIT Kanhai. Typically our other co-host, Jay Bridgepaul, but instead we have the lovely Dennis Allison, also here from the Bridge team. And Dennis, the reason why I brought you on the episode today, and I told viewers earlier, is because specifically you have answers to a lot of these questions.
Yes.
A lot of the Q&A that gets floated around. So I'll jump right into the next one. Now, what kind of credit score do I need to purchase a property? So this this one comes up, I swear to gosh, this comes up every like once a month. So it varies.
Yes.
It varies. Now typically, you know, they say 650 plus credit score to go to A banks, but as you know, Dennis, you know, many of our clients just they want to get into a property and they'll go to a B lender instead.
Also too, it helps to have a good down payment. You know, if you want to go with the 20%, I would recommend, if you have it, and you can go first time buyer 5%, but once you go 20%, you skip what's called the CMHC fees. That is your insurance for the bank, pretty much. Once you put something less than 20%, you have to pay a fee to them so they insure the mortgage. I don't know if you want to elaborate.
Yeah, I definitely can. So, to make sure we answer the question first, so credit scores, you know,
sorry.
it varies. You know, 650 plus for, you know, one of the top, the big five banks, the Schedule A banks, they call it. The Schedule B banks, what's going to happen is the interest rate is going to be slightly higher. But you're still going to get into the property, and that's the only main difference there. Now, your question about CMHC, it's I'm glad you actually brought that up because it's something that many people ask as well. So with CMHC, if you're ever putting down as your down payment less than 20% of the property, so let's just say, for argument's sake, property costs $100,000, you want to put down $15,000, not the $20,000. That's the 20%. So what's going to happen now is the bank is going to say, well, we need to insure that remaining $5,000. So they're going to take out an insurance premium from CMHC, Canadian Housing Mortgage Insurance Corporation. So what they're going to do now is they're going to take that premium and then tack it onto your mortgage. So you're going to end up actually paying the premium for the bank to be protected. And the real reason that they do this, and I'll kind of you know, simplify it for everyone to see. So if you are putting $5,000 down and the home is costing $100,000, the bank is now essentially giving you the other $95,000 to add with your $5,000 and then purchase the property. Who has more skin in the game, Dennis?
The bank.
The bank, of course. The bank's got $95,000 on the line. So if you, as the buyer, just decide to up and leave one day, you know, the bank's stuck holding the bag. And let's just say, for example, this is not to get too technical, but if the market fluctuates by 5 or 10%, which it may be normal on any given year, then the bank, the value of that property is no longer $100,000, it may be $90,000. So now the bank is actually going to have to sell that property at a loss. So really what this CMHC thing is, it's good and it's bad. I call it a necessary evil because without it, the banks would not lend on any properties with under 20% down. So in my mind, it's a necessary evil. You pay a little insurance premium, but you're not the beneficiary. Either way, it's something that's you know, something that needs to happen to help keep the market going.
That's the thing. You have to think about it in their shoes too. Would you lend that money out?
No.
Uninsured with less than 20% down? You barely put anything. I'm giving you all of this money over this time. This is a lot of money. So you want to insure it, right?
Yeah, definitely. Now another question here. This one always, it comes up more often than not. I actually get a lot of sellers asking me this question. So here it is. I want to list my home on a website like one of the Comfrey or just a regular website for sale, but I don't want to use an agent. How does that work? How does that work? Okay, so now it's probably it's counterintuitive for us to say or recommend going that route, but I'll tell you specifically why. And Dennis, you know a lot about this. We call it FSBO. It's for sale by owner. So it tries to happen so often that agents have a name for it. And what typically happens, let's just say, hi, my name is Dennis Allison. I want to sell my property, but I don't want to pay an agent. So I want to sell. My home is worth $700,000. I'm gonna list it at $700,000, and I'm gonna get $700,000. So I'm gonna save paying a listing agent, 2.5 or 2 or 1.5%, whatever it is you're paying that agent, and then ideally you're also gonna save the on the buyer side. Now, first off, let's talk about on the listing side, Dennis. Now, what tends to happen? I'm gonna list the property. I'm listing it at 700. I list it on that one website, and it really is nowhere else. So how many people do you think are going to see that property?
Not very many. The thing is, it's always recommended to go with an agent. Here's the reason why. We know what the market is like. You can't say, okay, I want to list my house at 700, and hey, what if that house is actually worth 800? You just lost out of $100,000.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or if it's worth less, that house is going to sit on the market for a long time, and there's not going to get a lot of exposure because you're just on one website. Now with an agent, you're going through MLS. We have a new program, Collaborate, which you can actually, as a client, go on MLS
and
like
browse
we do
everything.
and browse everything, and you can see what's on there, right? And we also advertise, Facebook and
the whole
newspapers,
9 yards.
the whole 9 yards.
So
you'll get the full service.
What I'm kind of hearing from you, Dennis, is also what I agree with now is, if you are worried about paying that 2% or 2.5% or 1%, whatever it is that you're listing that property for, you're looking at it the wrong way, because you're thinking in your mind you're losing money. But realistically, without proper exposure for the product that you're selling, you're actually not going to get the number of people to come into the property to look at the property.
Exactly.
And you're not going to get the right offers, and you may just get any offer that you do get after being on the market for 6 months. You're just going to take it.
Exactly.
And that's going to be detrimental to your sale, because number one, first off, if they don't have an agent with them, then you don't have them vetted at all.
Yes.
Now I'll switch to the buyer side to explain that a little bit more. Now, us as buyer agents as well, we make sure our clients are vetted, and they definitely are, pre-qualified and coming into the property. So we're not just making offers like all out of nowhere, out of thin air.
Exactly.
Well, sure, I'll give you a full price, but can you afford it?
Exactly.
Or is the bank going to give you the money for it? Right?
Yeah, exactly.
So at the end of the day, you're playing a very funny game, because if it's in a extreme seller's market like last year, January, February, March, maybe you could have lucked out and got away without having an agent to help you negotiate through the rough waters.
Yeah,
because everyone was
there's
overpaying.
So many offers. Yeah.
But in those particular situations or instances, Dennis, I still firmly believe that when you have an agent to structure all of the offers that are coming in accordingly and arrange everyone, you're still going to have that agent net you more money in your pocket.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
The thing is, you do want to go with an agent also too. It's
as long as the agent's good.
Exactly, as long as the agent's good, because they're gonna look into your best interest. At the end of the day, we do this every day.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you want to go to a professional? Because a lot of people think, yes, like you're saying, they're losing money, but they're actually losing money on their own because they don't know what it's supposed to be, how it's supposed to be structured.
No, it's true. And one way I really put it, after I give my whole speech, when most people ask me that question, then I ask them, well, okay, and I take a look outside and see what car's on their driveway. Okay, the Toyota Corolla, 3 years old. And I said, well, if you wanted to sell that Corolla, would you put it in the classified ads, or would you put it on Auto Trader? And they're gonna say, well, I'd probably put it on Auto Trader. I'd pay the $40 and put it on Auto Trader. So why are you doing that, Dennis? You're doing that because it's getting better exposure, and you're opening up to the entire market.
Yeah.
You're not gonna have certain people that don't want to come see that car because you're not going through Auto Trader. It's a whole culture.
Yeah, it's like the difference between putting a for sale sign in the window of your car opposed to putting it on Auto Trader.
Right. Spend the extra few dollars and get proper exposure, and then you're gonna have much better chances. It's not going to guarantee it, but you're going to have much better chances.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Anything I missed on that part? We did buyers, we did sellers.
I don't think so. I think we went through a good amount of it. If not, let us know, and we'll take care of it the next episode for sure.
All right, now as a follow-up, this is one quick question on the bottom of that one. It says, now how much do I typically pay an agent? Now this is a funny one, because buyer's agents, as many of our viewers may not know, a buyer agent, you don't pay them anything. Because the seller ends up paying. So then it really gets broken down to it's sort of a weird thing, because I even remember before I was in real estate, I've always Googled it and you never find an answer.
Yeah.
How much do you pay to sell your property? So on average, what you're going to end up spending is 2.5% to list the property. You're going to pay the buyer's agent another 2.5%. So it's on the top end around 5%. Now, in different markets in Toronto and Ajax, Oshawa, Hamilton, all over, it really depends on what the properties are like, what's the value of the homes. I've seen them go as low as 1% for the listing agent. That 2.5% is always being paid out. That's just a normal part of. Well,
you got to think about it too. There's what,
are they going to work
80,000 agents out there? There's so many people to choose from. So now when a client is looking to sell their home, they're interviewing 10 agents. So you have to be competitive too. It's all about selling yourself, and what can you do for that client that another agent can't.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that, Dennis, because while we're on the topic now of how much you should pay the seller agent, now there's a really a strong belief I have that you really shouldn't work for free. And there's a lot of things that many really good heavy hitters or the big lister agents, and you guys are going to know who they are because you see them on all the bus ads and all the newspapers. Those agents particularly, they have a team that comes in and does a virtual tour for your property. That's not cheap, Dennis. That's about $200. I know it's not a huge amount of money, but they have someone that comes in and does staging. They have someone that comes in, looks at all the bathtubs, does the caulking around all the sinks and all the tubs, and makes sure everything shines beautifully. Changes all the light bulbs. And then when you're looking at what the value of that is, sure, maybe it's only $1,000 or whatever it costs to get all that done. But Dennis, you'll be darn sure you're going to get an extra $5,000 for your property.
Absolutely.
Because of that minor work was done. People don't want to come into a fixer-upper. If they come into a fixer-upper, they're going to want to pay fixer-upper prices.
Exactly. If
you spend a few extra dollars here and there on the right team, you're going to get that money back. I can say consider it an investment.
Yeah, on the right bridge team, exactly.
This is not a plug for the bridge team, Dennis. It's not a plug for the bridge team.
Well, that's why people come to us. That we have that feature just to let you know. So if you want to give me a call, I'm always there.
Please interview all realtors equally.
Absolutely.
On that note, what I'll do is I'll ask you guys just to take a quick commercial break, and you'll be back with us in a few minutes while we answer some of these questions. We haven't got through all of them, but we're making our way. So we'll see you guys in a few.
We are doing this event for the community. But what if CEO actually stood for catching every opportunity?
This week alone, I've seen 3 businesses that shut their doors in this community.
Investing in yourself. You have to know what your brand is first. So there's no other way that you're going to build a brand unless you network. You have to eventually get out there.
And it stems down to a lot of times not having the right knowledge, the right know-how.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Let's Talk Real Estate. Here with your host, AMIT and our sometimes co-host, Dennis Allison.
Hey.
So basically what we're doing is we're drilling down on all of the hot button issues and questions and answers, or questions that people ask us. It happens all the time. I get messages on Instagram or on Facebook. Really just funny questions that, a lot of realtors don't tend to answer throughout the normal interview process or in general. So what I really want to make this show in general something that people can feel as a safe space that they can just ask questions and get answers to.
Absolutely.
Legitimate answers to the questions that everyone wonders, like the commission one in the last show.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So on that note, this particular segment, we're going to just wrap up a few of the questions, and then we're going to get into a little bit of the market update. So this was a fun one. I wanted to wait for one at the end. So I looked at a few properties yesterday with a realtor who was quite obviously has no clue what he's doing. Can I switch agents and still buy that house? Ooh, hot button question.
You can. You can, unfortunately.
So here's the thing. Now, you can and you can't.
Yeah,
now,
technically, yeah.
Yeah, so it really depends. Now, there's something that's called a buyer representation agreement. And here's how it works. It's a 3-page document, and it's not always used. Myself, personally, I actually don't use it until I'm submitting all my paperwork at the very end. But many realtors will walk in the door, and they'll be like, hey, sign this before I talk to you.
Yeah, yeah.
So what it is, it's basically them saying, I have you under contract.
Yes.
That any home that you buy with me or without me, you have to make sure and pay me that 2.5%.
Yeah.
Or you have to get that payment from the seller, no matter what.
Yeah.
Now, realistically, what happens is, and I've seen this happen many, many times, and I know you have as well, Dennis. You have someone that's gotten the buyer representation agreement signed, or they snuck it in with some paperwork at the very beginning, and then they just stop answering the phone.
Yeah.
Or they're just not available to show their clients properties.
Exactly.
Now, what happens is in these particular situations, I can see that you're out there looking at properties on your own, maybe, and then you want to put an offer through, but you're kind of bound to an agent. So there's two ways to answer this question. Number one, if you've signed the buyer representation agreement, you technically are bound with that agent. Now, I have never had an experience with anyone from the bridge team that has ever asked to be out of a buyer representation agreement, but if you ask, anyone at the bridge team will tear that contract right up.
Yes, but some agents won't.
But a lot of agents won't. Now, and the reason that we do that at the bridge team is because
trust.
It's trust. It's trust.
Absolutely.
Really. So if you're not comfortable buying the property with me or comfortable with me in general, why would I force you into purchasing the property?
Exactly.
And luckily we haven't come across that, but I've had many complaints of people coming to us from other outside offices and saying, hey, can we do something? Now, without getting too technical, you can actually apply to RICO to have them wipe that clean, the Real Estate Council of Ontario. But that, that's a topic for another day.
Yeah.
Now, in the other instance where you're just looking at properties in general, and they went out and saw a property with me, I had no idea what I was doing. I was just all over the place, and then they said, "Oh, I want to call Dennis." Go for it.
Yeah.
Go for it. Call the other agent, but make sure that you're not bound by any written agreement.
Yeah.
Because what happens at the end of the day, you need to be comfortable with the agent to help navigate you through the waters. Because Dennis, signing a contract is probably the easiest part.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
It's all the what I call after work. That comes in, a little bit of negotiating here and there. It's making sure your washer and dryer are the same.
Yeah.
It's small things like this. So a property is never sold until it's sold, until the changes hands, keys are done, and even at that point, there's still minor things like that could pop up.
Exactly.
I have a client right now. We closed on the 26th of March. A brand new dishwasher, stove, and fridge were installed in the property. And it's leaking from the dishwasher right now. So we ended up, called their handyman. Their handyman went in, looked at everything, said it was great. The dishwasher and the setup is done perfectly. It's still leaking. So brand new stuff. We called Samsung. Samsung came in and said, this is amazing, brand new product. But look at your hose, it's kinked.
Yeah.
So the handyman didn't realize it. So what we did, instead of calling our own handyman over, we ended up having the seller's agent call their handyman, went back, replaced the hose. It's taken, what's the date today? It's 12. So it's taken 2 weeks for that to all transpire. But, many agents might just walk away after that. Something as simple as just making all these necessary arrangements are actually more time consuming than doing the actual offer and negotiation, in my opinion.
Brings up the part we were talking about, the home inspection. You go and do the home inspection, so then you can negotiate with the seller's agent as to, okay, get this fixed, and then we can make a deal from there. Also, God forbid you were to sign one of these agreements. Maybe you're going with a family member or something like that. Please read through your contract. Read through what you're signing, because a lot of people, they don't realize, okay, I'm just signing this because I'm going to see this property and that's it. No, there's clauses in there that say you're stuck for 3 months. Or some people even do 6 months.
Yeah.
So you have to be careful of what you're signing. Make sure you read through all of your paperwork at all times.
Yeah, and it's a 3-page document. It's very quick, so it's not going to take you too much time to read through. But realistically, if you're bound for 6 months to one particular agent, let's fast forward a little bit, and I've seen some instances where they've actually switched to a different agent, bought the property directly through the listing agent or with another agent. Now what happens? The agent is found out, agent number one is found out, they've applied to the real estate council and to taking it to court, and guess what happens? They get a 2.5% paid from the buyer. So the buyer now has to pony up an additional 2.5%, all because of one contract, one 3-page contract that you can slip into any other documents and get initialed and signed.
Exactly. So be careful what you sign.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, make sure you read through.
Absolutely.
All right, that was a good question. Now, basically, what I wanted to do is we're down to about 3.5 minutes here. I want to know what's going on in the market, Dennis.
What I'm seeing in the market, it's fairly stable. The prices are starting to go, like I'm still seeing some houses going for multiple offers.
But it's
not
let's talk
common right now.
Yeah, let's talk about price range then. Well, if we can stop for a second and break it into segments. So let's take a look at a segment of $400,000 to $600,000 properties. We're finding in GTA in general, we're finding a lot of townhouses in that range.
Yes.
Freehold and non-freehold, and we're also finding bungalows.
Yes.
So in that range, anything under 600, in my opinion, I think they're actually going very quickly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And when I see detached homes and semi-detaches listed now, even in the Brampton area, for about $500,000, I automatically know from experience now, looking at homes all the time on MLS, that those homes are usually going for multiple offers.
Yeah.
And then you got to think, if it's not going for multiple offers, then what's wrong with
Something's
it?
wrong with it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So what you're saying is this is something that's too good to be true. It usually is.
Exactly. And that's what we do, which is great opposed to other people, because we will actually go through it. Again, we can see through the pictures and see.
Sure,
you know
I'm
what I mean?
there's some other agents that do it too.
Absolutely, but obviously, we're the bitch team. But,
So on that note, realistically, I think properties in the $400,000 to $600,000 range, semis and those freehold bungalows, they're selling very quickly, and they're gone in 15 days. So these properties are still moving very quickly.
Yes.
If you break it down to condos, what are you seeing in the condo market right now?
Wow.
GTA, Toronto versus East End.
Condo market is going crazy.
Yeah.
There's condos out there that you would get a couple years ago that you paid maybe $200-300 for, going in the 400, 450 range, even 500
Yeah,
range.
I'll give you an example right now. I looked at a deal I did last year in March, only because the lady called some questions, and I just forwarded her over her old contract. I keep everything on in the cloud. So anyways, so I kept that, and it was $270,000 for a studio condo in Square One. That same condo right now would be listed for $350,000.
Wow.
And she's done nothing to it.
Very
It's
minimal,
just,
yeah.
The real issue is with the mortgage rules changing a little bit, a lot of the climate changing around what you're getting approved for.
Yes.
Then people's approval rate is shrinking from 600 to 500, or from 500 to 400.
Yes.
So then the properties that are sitting in that range, in the condo range, they're going very quickly because
that's what is affordable.
That's what the affordability out there is.
Yes.
So what you're going to get is I've seen in the last month in Toronto, you've had property condos, 2-bedroom condos, increased by 1%. That's in 1 month. So that's $5,000-6,000.
Yep.
Right. So it's making a big deal and a big dent. So what's happening is you're just getting a lot of people flocking towards those properties.
Exactly.
So then I guess we can break down to the last segment. $700,000, $800,000, $900,000, $1 million. Those properties. What are you seeing with those?
I'm finding the higher priced properties, especially the ones in the millions, are not moving very quickly. They're getting a few showings, but now
we've got a couple.
We have a few.
Yeah, we got a couple listed over now, but they're just going slow.
Well, I find now the good thing about this stress test is that now you're getting more qualified buyers, people who can afford it overall, right? You know, a lot of people spread themselves thin before when the market was going crazy with the demand and everything, right? So now it's more stable. If you're sitting on the sidelines thinking, okay, it's going to go down, I'm going to recommend that you know, if you are looking to buy, I would jump in sooner than later, because you don't want to wait too long and say, hey, shoulda, woulda, coulda, right?
Yeah, and especially if you're under the 650 range, like jump in. You're just gonna ride it. It's gonna continue on a nice, slow, steady incline. And realistically, even if it's only 1.5% or 2%. You know, on $600,000, that's like $40,000. So,
exactly.
You know, you're at least making it on the way. So really, it really just depends on where you are in the market. And what you're looking at doing. There's still a lot of good properties available. So it's, you know, it's give and take. On that note, I probably want to invite some of our viewers out to our next our workshop, or the forum. So that's coming up.
That's May the 26th at 96 Rexdale Boulevard. It's 1 to 3 p.m.
1 to 3 o'clock. That's May the 26th. So that's right at Rexdale Boulevard, as Dennis was saying. You're going to see it advertised a lot on Facebook and in a few different places. And this one in particular, we have a lawyer that's coming in.
Yes, we do.
We have
an
accountant, and we have a mortgage broker. So really what you can do is a lot of these questions that we ask here, and you wonder, hey, are these guys even qualified to answer them? You're going to get real people that are answering these questions.
So not alone, we also have some of our agents too sitting on the panel to answer your questions. It's just an open discussion.
Definitely, yeah. So that's 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock. Please feel free to just contact us or visit youhaveapiggybank.ca, and we'll be able to, you know, register you and sign you up. But other than that, I want to thank you guys very much for, you know, tuning in today. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. If any other questions that we didn't really get to, feel free just to shout us out on Instagram, Facebook, anything, and we'll be there for you
anytime.
All right. Talk to you guys later.
T-minus 15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence start. 6.